Coming up on today's show, will Jason Peters make a return to Seattle? He had a free agency visit on Tuesday. We'll explain what exactly is going on with that in just a matter of moments. Also, Terrell Dodson's off to a strong start to 2024. He's impressed early so far this season. We'll tell you what exactly is going on with him and what he's had to say about his first year with the Seahawks coming up in just a matter of moments. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. I want to set a record here on today's show, folks. The most likes we've received on a single video for the month of September, pretty good, 917. But I think we can do better than that. Can we get 1,000 likes on today's video? Chase Sr. at the 49ers Report said we couldn't do it. I think we can prove him wrong. Like the video. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Let's stick it to the Niners, and we'll get going here on Seahawks Today. Bring back Jason Peters. It's an idea, and it's one the Seahawks are currently discussing. The Seahawks hosted the 42-year-old offensive tackle for a free agency visit on Tuesday. I think Jason Peters might be old enough to be my dad at this point, but anyways, Phil Yates putting out this tweet saying the Seahawks hosted veteran offensive tackle Jason Peters on a free agent visit. The 42-year-old played in 8 games with Seattle last season. But it doesn't appear that a signing is imminent, at least according to Aaron Wilson, who said the following: no immediate deal for the Seahawks and Jason Peters, per a league source. So then the question becomes, if we're really spending the time talking to a 42-year-old Jason Peters, who wasn't that great, in all honesty, last year when he played for Seattle, are the Seahawks really that desperate at this point in time? Has it gotten that bad with the offensive line, with the offensive tackle position, that the Seahawks are that desperate for help that they would need to call a 42-year-old Jason Peters off the street? Well, you look at the Seahawks offensive line and you see, okay, you're down Abraham Lucas, you're down George Fant, you're starting Stone Forsythe, who has not looked very good there at that right tackle position. And the guys behind them, you have a former UDFA and McClendon Curtis, Mike Jarrell, who is a rookie and was a late day 3 pick here at this point. The answer to that question is, sadly, yes, we are that desperate. We have reached that point where a workout for Jason Peters, as crazy as it sounds at 42 years of age, makes sense for this Seahawks team. There's not a ton of options out there for what these Seahawks could do. Now, there's no arguing that Jason Peters has an impressive resume, a 9-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time first-team All-Pro, a Super Bowl champion, but he's a shade of his former self. You look at the numbers of what he did in those 8 games with the Seahawks last year. His overall grade, according to PFF, wasn't very good, a 53.9. Run block grade of 71.2. That was pretty solid, but his pass block grade was atrocious, a 45.1 in 215 snaps. So, let's ask you now, your chance to be John Schneider. Should the Seahawks really sign Jason Peters at this point? Is that what we're looking at here? What do you think? Type S for sign, P for pass. Weigh in, let us know. Seahawks Today will be live for the Seahawks matchup with the Detroit Lions coming up this Monday night. Our coverage begins at 7:15 Eastern, 4:15 Pacific. I'll be here. Smitty will be here. The only thing missing is you. You need to be here. Subscribe now, and you will be the first to know when we go live here on the channel. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Don't miss out. Seahawks and Lions right here, and we will see you then. Terrell Dodson, one of the newest members of the Seattle Seahawks, has impressed through the first 3 weeks of the 2024 campaign, and he's doing so in a number of different ways, as he's the green dot, the de facto leader of this Seahawks defense, and so far, he's been a natural fit for what Mike Macdonald is looking to do with this defense. You look at his grades, according to PFF, solid overall grade of 70.0. Run defense needs a little work, a 41. pass rush grade is 61.2. He did have that sack last week, though. His coverage grade, that's a big difference, in 84.8, which is considerably better than what we had seen from the previous linebackers when it came to coverage. That was a big weakness for Bobby Wagner. If any of y'all watched the Monday night game against the Cincinnati Bengals, Bobby was having a rough go at it in coverage. Jordan Brooks, of course, has never been a good coverage linebacker. He's in Miami now. We don't miss him. Tyrel Dodson is answering the call and doing a really good job, and he's gelling with his head coach. He had this to say this week on Mike Macdonald. I want to give a shout-out to Coach Mike. He's been showing us that formation since I got here. He just said, I see this formation, just go. I trust him and made a big play for my team. And you look at the numbers of what he's done so far through the first 3 games. 23 tackles. He's got a sack, 2 TFLs, and 1 pass breakup. He's looked pretty good. And you think about the grades that he's put up so far to this point. You go back to that Dolphins game, he was the second highest graded defender for this entire Seahawks defense with a 77.3 overall grade. So his impact on this Seahawks team is being felt with his performances week in and week out. And I think we all specifically think about the play of the game for the Seahawks this past week was the goal line stand when they held the Dolphins out of the end zone. It was a huge play, and it was the first game all season that the Seahawks held their opposing team out of the end zone. Dodson had this to say when it came to that play. It felt really good. It's great when a team is knocking on the door for 4 downs and you don't let them win. I'm so proud of our defense because we're resilient. And he's absolutely right about that. Seahawks defense has certainly looked really good through these first 3 weeks of the season. More on Dodson and the linebacker room here in just a moment. But first, let's ask you, do you believe in Terrell Dodson? Have you seen enough? Are you convinced that he's the guy? If so, type B for believe. If not, for whatever reason, type D for don't. Weigh in, let us know in the comments section. Today's show is sponsored by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Enter the promo code Seahawks125 for a 125% deposit bonus. When you put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free at chatsports.com/bet. The odds for Monday's game, your Seahawks are an underdog in Detroit, 3.5. But you think about it, the home team gets 3. So closer than the experts think potentially here. Over-under 46.5. Get your bets in now. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125. More on Tyrel Dodson, the former UDFA out of Texas A&M, joined the Bills, and really last year was a breakout year for Dodson there with Buffalo and proved himself that he's a starter quality linebacker, signing with Seattle on March 14th, coming off a season where last year he was the second highest graded inside linebacker in the NFL with an 89.5 grade. And you think about where the Seahawks are at with the linebacker position right now. Dodson's running mate, Jerome Baker, is currently on the injury report, and he's been banged up a lot, really, since he arrived in Seattle. And with the way that Dodson has performed, Knight stepping up, we've heard the Seahawks, straight from their head coach, Mike Macdonald, applaud the performance from Drake Thomas. He said that he thinks that while Baker is out, that Knight and Thomas will rotate, that they'll both get playing time, that they've both earned that right to. You have to feel pretty good about this circumstance, especially when you consider that going into 2024, the linebacker position was a huge question mark for this Seahawks team, and these guys have answered the call. They've done a really good job, collectively speaking, with Dodson leading the way. Michael Sean Duggar of The Athletic put this tweet out in regards to the linebacker situation just the other day. He said, if Jerome Baker's hamstring is healthy, he'll play next to Tyrel Dodson, inside linebacker. But if Baker has to miss any more time, Mike Macdonald says he's not opposed to a rotation of Tyrese Knight and Drake Thomas says Drake has earned that, and that's true. The real test, I think, is going to be this upcoming week. The Seahawks play the toughest team that they have faced in the first 4 weeks of the season. The Detroit Lions coming off an appearance in the NFC Championship game. They've looked decent to begin the season so far. Personally, the most I got to see of the Detroit Lions was that Sunday night game they had against the Rams. Very good win for them there. And you go on the road, a hostile environment. Let's see what these guys are made of. What can they do to slow down that explosive Detroit Lions offense? And think about this. The Seahawks have won their last 2 games against Detroit at Detroit the last 2 seasons. All right? Now you think about, all right, you're going back for a third time now. And these inside linebackers that the big emphasis has been on coverage, what are they going to do to stack up and try to hold down against this Lions high-powered attack? To me, that's going to be intriguing to see what they can put together. Is the Seahawks defense ready for the Detroit Lions? How are you feeling looking ahead to Monday's game? Weigh in, let us know. Y for yes, N for no, if you believe this defense is ready or not. If you enjoyed today's show, you'll want to set that likes record. Well, there's only one thing to do. That's hit the like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time right here on Seattle Seahawks Today.